Okay, this is part 2 of our video lesson series in using iMovie and editing software to produce your videos for your classes. And we're picking up right where we left off on video lesson 1. So if you missed video lesson 1 and you're kind of needing to go back and look at some of the things that we did to this point, please go back and preview that video, and then this one will pick up right where we left off. So if you notice, we still have our editing window open here where we left off before. And what I want to look at now is just a few other things that we didn't get into in the previous lesson. Now, some things that you might want to do is add still shots from time to time. And so what I'm going to do is click on my little camera icon here, and it's going to take me straight to iPhoto. And these are pictures that I've already loaded into iPhoto, and iPhoto, if you're familiar with it, is this little icon down here where it says iPhoto. And what I've done is I've taken some pictures of our science fair, and sometimes I just want to add those in as kind of still shots to add some effects. And so what I'm going to do is kind of just grab some random pictures here and drag them up and let them go. And if you notice, they're going to come in at 4 seconds. Now 4 seconds is my default bring in. And if you notice, this is a judge right here with a student. And I don't want it to be 4 seconds long, but let me kind of show you just kind of what it looks like right here. So if I play it, I'm just hitting my space bar.
You know, this is your first year to come.
If you notice, it has this motion effect to it, and it's going 4 seconds moving from the motion. And what I'm going to do is double click on the still photo, and I'm going to go to, actually no, I don't want to go there. I want to click right here and go to cropping, Ken Burns, and rotation. And if you notice, the starting point of that still shot is the green area, and if I click again, the ending portion of that 4 seconds shows me the bigger screen, so it kind of was zoomed in a little tighter and just gradually moved outward. I want this to be a still shot that looks like somebody took it with a camera and then they're moving on. So what I'm going to do is just say crop, and it just gives me the green box, which means that's going to be a still shot in the middle of my screen. And I'm going to say done here. Now the one thing I did not like was the 4 seconds that it was there, so I'm going to double click it. I'm going to change it to just 2 seconds because I want these pictures to go by kind of quick. And I'm going to look for some other pictures that I've got over here. And let's see here. Grab this one. This was another judge. If you remember in our previous video, we were just looking at the judges. I'm going to double click it. I want it to go 2 seconds. And say done. And then I'm also going to go to here and say cropping Ken Burns rotation. Hit crop. So essentially I want all these pictures to kind of be the same as I'm bringing them in. Let's see what else we have. Not sure that this is a judging photo. It might be. There's some judges in the area. However, it's cropped off right now. If you look at it and kind of bring your cursor around it, kind of shows how the Ken Burns is applying. I'm going to double click it again. Change it to 2 seconds. Then I'm going to click here and say cropping Ken Burns in rotation and say crop. I want to bring it up to where we see this judge. And we'll kind of crop it like that. It's not the best picture to crop because we have kind of heads that we're chopping off here and there. So what I may do is just kind of bring it like this. You can tell the judge is looking down at something. We don't necessarily have to see it. We just want to make sure the judge is shown. I'm going to say done. And so I want to stay in the alignment because we're talking about judges in the previous recording. So I want to stay with that concept. Now what I'm thinking in my head is you see this a lot in videos and movies and things where you hear the camera shutter sound as we're watching the clips go by. And I want to look for that sound over here in my sounds. And so in this one, I'm going to do a search for, I'm going to come back to my main folder, I like sound effects, and I'm going to type in camera and camera shutter. And the only reason I knew that was there was I've used it before. And I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it in right at the beginning of where this clip is. I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to do that for each one of these. Drop another one here and another one here. And I don't mind an abrupt transition here because it's supposed to look like snapshots coming at you off the screen. So if I play it, it's going to look like this. So I'm hitting my space bar.
On our performance in the science fair. You know, of all the projects, I know this is your first year to come.
Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. As I was watching the clip, I noticed that the interviewer on the camera was actually talking a little bit to the students, and I don't want to cut her off. So I'm going to extend that clip out. If you remember, if I go down to my clip window, that orange bar right here shows me what section I took of that video. And I know there's more that I want. It doesn't mean just because I took that clip, the rest has disappeared. All I have to do is go over here and click on it. And I'm going to click right here and say clip trimmer. It's going to open this new window for me right here. And what I'm going to do is grab this yellow bar and extend it out. I'm watching her moving her lips so I kind of know when she's done talking. Goes back to the students. Getting quite a bit of video here. I may not want it, but I'm going to go ahead and grab it just in case. I don't think I want all of him talking right now because we don't know the entire conversation that was taking place. So that's 44 seconds. That's quite a bit. I'm going to actually drive back. Stay about 30 seconds just to keep my viewer interested. And so right about there. So I'm going to click done. And what you'll notice is it's going to pull that video in up here. So now we have her talking. We have a little bit of the student's response. So if I hit the space bar, here's what I see.
The strongest project, or what gave you the idea? I mean, this is a very unique, in high school, to do this. You know, how did you guys come up with this idea?
Actually, there's a website that we went and it's like.
Okay, so it is kind of an abrupt stop. And so what I can do is go back to my backgrounds if I want. I can find some sort of subtle thing that maybe I could bring into it a little bit, maybe type a little bit over it. So let's go to this one and we'll just drop it right here. Remember, I'm always looking to see where that green bar is. It dropped it in at 4 seconds. There is no motion here. I want to add a little type to give the viewer a little understanding why I kind of dropped that video out. And it's really just for the video lesson primarily, but I want to just try to make some relevance out of it. So here I'm going to say some still shots of our judges. And so as I play it now, here's what it's going to look like. And it seems kind of dull right there, so I want to kind of bring in a little bit of music, background music, maybe right when the student starts to talk to her. So I want to kind of play it through and kind of get an idea where that's at.
What gave you the idea? I mean, this is a very unique, in high school, to do this.
Okay, so right about there, he looks like he's about ready to respond to her. And that's at about 53 seconds or so. So we can go between 53 and 55 seconds. And what I'm going to do is find some music to use. And go back to jingles. And go down here, and we're dealing with about, I don't know, 20 seconds or so of video. Maybe not that much, but anyway, we'll go into this a little bit. This one wasn't bad. If you're ever tired of just hearing the music play out, you can hit the little play button here, and it allows it to pause. So I'm going to grab this one right here, and I'm going to come back up to that time frame we were looking at. And just kind of watching him talk. I'm going to let it go. And that green bar actually goes way past where I wanted it to, so I'm going to drag it back a little bit. And actually, I can actually play it through. Let's kind of see what happens here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. And I want that music to kind of fade inward instead of outward. So I'm going to double click it. I'm going to go to audio. I want to override the fade in and hit manual. And I want it to fade in about 4 seconds. 3.9 is fine. Just say done, and we'll listen to it now.
You guys come up with this idea?
Actually, there's a website about it. And
So that's coming along pretty good. We can see some different progress here. And some other things about still shots, let's just kind of grab a couple more and kind of change up the effect, because you know it's like a shutter going off on your camera. And so what I want to do is go back to my pictures, and it's loading my images. And so right here I want to just go to some of the projects themselves, and I want to add some different effects. So here's some actual additions you can do with some pictures. And so I'm going to grab this one, and the reason I chose it was because it's kind of elongated from left to right, and I'm going to use that Ken Burns approach. So what I'm going to do is go cropping, Ken Burns, and rotation, and you can actually make it look like a camera is panning across the still shot. This is a really cool effect. So what I'm going to do is click on the start. I'm going to reduce this down by grabbing it and moving it, and I'm going to pull it over here to the left of the frame, and I'm going to continue to reduce it a little bit. And so when it starts the shot, when it shows that first image, it's going to be really tight on these lemons right here. But I want it to look like it pans across. So what I'm going to do is grab the ending image, and I'm going to reduce it down to the size of that green, like this. And I'm going to make it just where it fits, and I'm going to drag it across. And what's going to be cool about that is the way that it's going to approach itself. So when I say done, and I play it, here's what it's going to look like. And so I want to drag it out a little bit longer. So instead of 4 seconds, I want to go 8 seconds. Okay, and I'm going to come back and watch it again. That may seem a little long, but I'm going to take up some time doing some things with that. So I'm going to take my music again and drag it all the way over where it comes into the lemon shot. So now it's going to look like this. Okay, so I want it to actually end about where that music is. So I'm going to clip on it and just going to drag it back and right click and say split clip. Then I'll delete this one. So it's going to look like this now. I thought what was really cool is that that music really seems to fade out right there. I want to add some text here, so I'm going to click on my text tool again, and I want to grab a little bit different effect here, and I'm going to grab this one here. I'm going to drop it right there and say from lemon batteries. So that's going to fly in as we watch it. And I'm going to find one other picture to kind of add. And let's grab, oh, here's another one with the lemons. So it kind of shows a close-up of it. Let's kind of see how that Ken Burns is looking. And so this will be kind of cool. What I want to do is add a transition here. That was unexpected. I didn't know I had that picture also. So it's a different view of those lemons. And so we'll do a cross blur right there. And we'll extend this out a little bit. And so here's what it's looking like now. It's going to look pretty cool. Okay, so what I may do is go ahead and trim this more. So split clip here. Delete this one out so I get more of that music in there while I'm talking about the lemons. So here we go. Okay, so now I want to find another picture that's not the lemons, even though I have a few more pictures. But find one that looks like we got a pretty good tight shot. So we'll drag this one and pull it up here. And it's nice because we can see the actual title of her project. And so we'll kind of talk about this one too. We'll add some text that says, kind of use the same text to fill the color of your heartbeat. Okay, so if you notice the music kind of quit right there, we don't have any more, so what I may want to do is actually change that music out. It's not required to be there, or we can actually add another segment that kind of pulls us into it. But because we're kind of going longer, I think I want to find some longer music. So I'm going to delete out this original one we had. And remember, it started at right about there where the student was about to talk. So I'm going to delete it. Go back to my music again. Just don't get hung up on anything, for very long, because you may want to change it unless you're just dead set. That was kind of cool, so we're going to use it. I think it kind of goes along with what we're doing. I'll let it go. Remember, we had that fade in, so let's do that again. Let's double click it, go audio. I want to fade in the music to about 3 seconds or so, 4 seconds. And so if you notice, it goes all the way to our last image, which means it probably goes past that. It's just that's the end of our video, so it stops abruptly there. But let's just kind of watch it through right now.
Actually, there's a website that
I actually like that music better. It seemed to go better. Okay, I just noticed an error there because it just said from lemon batteries. I should say to. And so we'll do that a little different. What I'll do is go back to text and we'll have some other thing come in. Drop this right there. And we'll add to the. I'm going to go back on this one and double click it because it already says the. So I'm going to delete the word the. So it'll look like this. So I'll go. Okay, and you can tell that music goes longer because it stops abruptly right there. And so we could actually come back and add some more video. Looks like we've grabbed most of our segments. Maybe we can grab this student or another student's. I have more videos shot. We'll kind of leave it at that. And we'll come back to another segment later. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this second segment. Be looking forward to the third segment of this video series where I will be discussing more about video lessons, and we're going to add to this video until we complete it and post the original online. That way you can kind of see behind the scenes how it was made, and you'll see the original one published as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.